What's up, Three Black Guys with the Mic fam? This episode is powered by BWP Marketing and Hype Voice Creative. If you want to support the show, we would really appreciate that. Head over to our YouTube channel and click the subscribe button. Also, head over to soundcloud.com/Three Black Guys with the Mic and subscribe to our SoundCloud channel. And don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get this podcast. And if you want to support us financially, it's all good. Drop something in our Cash App at Three Black Guys Mic. And now, let's start the show.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo. So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy. And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
But take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic.
Yes, baby. Welcome to Three Black Guys with the Mic. Spud is here. Lamont is here. Maynard is here. What is really, really good, gentlemen? Thank you so very much for tuning in to Three Black Guys with the Mic, the podcast where politics and pop culture meet debate style and, you know, hip hop as well. So tonight we got a lot to talk about because we were off last week. So, you know, we got a lot to kind of catch up on as well as, you know, talk about. Also, just a quick reminder before we start the show, if you're watching this show live right now, make sure that you share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching it on YouTube, bing, hit the, thumbs up button, hit subscribe. So that way, you know, we can continue to be able to do this podcast, share it, rate and review it on iTunes and on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Three Black Guys with a Mic. So that way we can continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So if you're watching it right now, hit the share button. Go share, and share. So real quick before we start, fellas. Now, the unfortunate part about what I'm about to say is that it does not work for me. But for all my beard gangs out there, Rugged Evolution is definitely what you need. All right? Rugged Evolution has 16 natural balms, oil, shampoos, and accessories for your beard care needs. So all of the, you know, freeways, all of the, you know what I'm saying, Philadelphia guys, all my Philly people, all the people with the beards, you need to hit up Rugged Evolution at ruggedevolution.com and definitely get your beard game jumping off because they can definitely
I'm trying to get my beard game lush and beautiful at some point in the future. I'm working on. I got a starter beard. I got a starter kit. I'm a rookie in the game.
So go to ruggedevo.com. That's ruggedevo.com. So how was you guys' Juneteenth? How did you guys celebrate? Did you pop off some fireworks? Did you have a barbecue in the back? Did you Lamont, did you put some, stuff on the grill?
I mean, I was on TikTok. What do you mean?
I don't know. I mean, it was Juneteenth. Everybody's like up in the uproar that, we don't celebrate Juneteenth enough. Juneteenth.
I'm addicted, my guy. I was on TikTok. It's about 4 a.m. and I went to sleep. It is but you singing earlier in my cop car. What did you do? You know the dances. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I'm TikTok out here, bro.
I didn't know the dances.
Come on. I'm the cop car. You don't know all that? I'm TikToking out here in these streets. Let me get myself together. So I was on to like 4 a.m. last night. Every night I start around like 11, from like 11 to 4. You know what I'm saying? So let me get it together. All right. So what was this Juneteenth? What was that? What's that about? Is that when we were told we were supposed to have been free, but then they told us 2 years later after we was already picking some extra cotton, wasn't it something like that, Maynard?
More or less, like, you know what? Since they ain't heard, let's get this last little bit of cotton done, and we might get a couple extra things taken care of.
It wasn't even official. They just like yelled it out. It's like,
y'all stop now.
Like years later,
it's like, you're free.
Yeah, wasn't it like 2 years later?
Yeah. So like Lamont said, that June typically the 19th is kind of the celebration. For the most part, in Texas, slaves had not heard that the African slave had been freed, and slavery was over. And so, 2 years later. And now, did y'all know or have Juneteenth discussions when y'all were younger in y'all neighborhoods? Where you were from?
I did not in school, but shout out to my mentor, Phil Canty, Easy Street. He works at HUR in DC. He was my first mentor, and he's always been, about African American studies, and so he has always, been one of those people. He taught me a lot, in regards to reading books and making sure that, we were always equipped with African American history. So that was, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about Juneteenth growing up. I wouldn't have known about the African American, what's the name? The Negro anthem.
Which one is the Negro anthem? Which one is that?
Lift every voice and sing, and don't you act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
That's the church song.
No, that's the Black National Anthem.
Oh, well, I hate to say this about the Juneteenth, and we're gonna get spoiled back in a minute, but the only way I know about Juneteenth is Darnell Jones. I'm never gonna forget this. He had a promo date at Whammo, and I was like, "Well, what are we going to Whammo for?" Oh, it's a Juneteenth celebration. Oh, what's that? I was like in the 90s somewhere. I don't remember what year, but I had no idea what that was.
Here comes Super Spud from Bizarre.
There
he is.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. My bad. My internet. Maybe somebody's tapping my internet. They didn't want me to talk about Juneteenth.
We had a Juneteenth discussion more than once or twice when I was a kid. In fact, there were some celebrations that were, involved with this church or that church, and there were things that, they were telling us about. We didn't, as a kid, you were like, okay, it said, say the line, right? Oh, we are free now. Let us go. It was like a little play, and that's all you really knew. So it did, I wasn't given enough information when I was a kid about what this was all about. Then we had some other kind of rich African American cultural celebrations in that time. Juneteenth, we followed that up with the August Quarterly, I think, and Middletown Camp was in between there, all of which were like kind of church related for us. And they were these programs or events that went down that were involved with the church that kind of celebrated some cultural piece more than just, praising Jesus and that kind of thing.
So can I ask both of y'all a question? Growing up, did you learn about Anne Frank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was Anne Frank?
She was she wrote the diary. She was not Nazi. I'm sorry. Please excuse me. She was the Jewish girl.
She was not a Nazi.
She was a Jewish girl who was who was being sought after by Nazis, basically.
Why were we talking about Anne Frank and we had to read her diary, but I couldn't read my man's diary from Galveston, Texas?
You know why?
I want to hear you say why.
And because Anne Frank's a pretty little white woman.
Okay, cool. I mean, shout out to the pretty white women. I'm not tripping. I'm just saying, somebody asked me that question, and I was like, dog, you're right. I mean, we had to write a paper. We had to do the whole shebang on Anne Frank. And I'm not hating on Anne. You know what I'm saying? But
we did discuss. I'm sure we did. And I don't want to lie about this because I could be wrong. But I'm sure that we discussed Frederick Douglass in high school. We didn't discuss Frederick Douglass, I don't believe, in detail, his book or whatever. We didn't discuss that in grade school, but I'm almost sure in high school we did discuss that.
But you studied Anne Frank, am I right?
No, I didn't study Anne Frank. They gave us here's the book, Diary of Anne Frank. The same way they gave us the book, the Narratives of a Slave.
Okay.
Well, let's start with we did not get the opportunity to talk about Dave Chappelle's 846. Let's start with you, Lamont. And how you felt about Dave Chappelle and his so-called comedy special. It wasn't really a comedy special; it was more like a rant. And him talking about George Floyd and the police putting his knee on the neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
I mean, I really enjoyed when he talked about Candace, about how, what she does is a rotten way of making a living. And I remember when Candace said on one of her many television appearances that she knows nothing about racism, that she hasn't experienced it. But then if you go back in her history, how if I think she was maybe 15 or 16, along with 6 other brothers at their local NAACP where she grew up, where she sued some people over racial discrimination and got a check. You know what I mean? It's like
38 stacks.
Yeah, it's like, so she's just, just a fraud all the way around. So I'm glad, and he didn't go that in detail with it, but he kind of went for her neck a little bit, because I guess the older I get, the more I'm learning is that just because they look like me and you, that don't mean they're down for me and you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was cool. I mean, it's Dave. He gonna talk the way he talked and get his point across. It's good that he was able to do it in a manner of delivering it through YouTube, which I thought was super cool for those who don't have, Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he had to deal with that. So I thought it was pretty cool the way that he did it. He delivered that message.
So first of all, I think, much like Richard Pryor, we expect Dave to talk about things, right? We expect somebody like Earthquake maybe, or certain other comedians to stay in the comedian lane and tell joke after joke after joke, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And as I look at Dr. Sabrina Jackson chime in saying it was not funny, I also saw that guy that I shared that information with you, the people who did the UncleTom.com movie, or Uncle Tom the movie, whatever it is. There's a brother who's discussing it, 846, and he's like, yo, Dave, you stick to telling jokes, you're not funny. This essentially is the language of Laura Ingraham saying to LeBron James, shut up and dribble. Dave, shut up and tell jokes. And he's a thinker. He's probably, at least as far as observational comedians are concerned, he's one of the better observational comedians that exist, if not one of the best that exist today. And sometimes this is not a funny moment. It's not time for funny. It's time not for funny ha-ha, but time for funny like, I didn't think of it that way. And I appreciate it. Like you, Lamont, I felt like Dave was operating in the space that I expect him to operate in. Every time he's been out, and most recently, he's always given us some gems. A lot of times, those gems have a lot of jokes on top. But, I mean, he dropped them gems. And, I think that people who are like, you got to tell jokes or else, they looking for a court gesture. They looking for a clown. And Dave ain't going to be a clown.
Well, I was going to say this real quick, too, Spud, is like, I think, and I also should say, Dave's growing up. You feel what I'm saying? I think jokes are about, where you are and how you view things. Like the DL Hughley, shout to DL, of what we have today is not the one that we had 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So I think this piece, along with his other recent piece, are just showing his growth and him being an adult. He's a father. He's a husband. You know what I'm saying? He's not worried about if the new J's are out or the new whatever the new thing is at the club or the newest tequila. That's not his bag. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's just being more adult and being able to deliver the message through that lens. So that's it for me, Spud, but I'm with it.
I mean, but let me just be the devil's advocate here. But if I buy a ticket to go see Dave Chappelle, isn't there a certain expectation that I'm supposed to get when I buy that ticket? If I go and buy a ticket to see LeBron James, I don't expect for LeBron James to stand in the middle of the court and actually start talking about, Black Lives Matter. I would expect for him to play basketball.
Right.
I would expect for I'm not saying
shut the drip, right?
And I like when he wears, you know what I'm saying, I Can't Breathe, and that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying I would think the one thing I guess that bothers me about it is if I buy a ticket to go and see you, Dave, I expect, you know what I'm saying, some jokes. Now, I expect the balance. I mean, because I thought Sticks and Stones was amazing. You know, I thought that was probably one of the best things that he's ever done, where he mixed the jokes and he mixed the, you know what I'm saying, the commentary as well. But I think that, you know, this to me was all commentary. Well, this was not jokes at all.
Do you believe that being a comedian is being an artist?
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it.
And then if you went to a museum and you knew that this particular artist was like, you like a lot of his stuff, you've been there you've seen 2-3 things of his on the internet, or maybe you've seen one at a friend's house. You're like, I like that artist, right? And you go and you see some other artwork that he deems is appropriate for show, but you'd be like, ooh, I don't really like that. I mean, do you say that he ain't supposed to put that art out? Dave is an artist.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, and you're right. I think that there is a certain way to be able to put out art that's different. You know, I think that if I am a paying customer of Dave Chappelle, which I'm a huge fan, I would just expect for when I pay my money to come and see you, I'm coming to a comedy show. I'm not coming to a lecture.
Yeah, but let's back this up a little bit. It wasn't a special. It was 8 minutes and 40 some odd seconds that they purposely delivered via YouTube, right?
20 minutes, I thought, right?
No,
it was titled 8:46. What was it, like 21 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? People came to see the actual show.
Yeah, but they didn't pay a ticket. And I think that was his house.
It was at his crib.
He does those shows in Ohio all the time. You get to come to my house and listen to me talk. I'm going to give you a little finger food. Tito's going to sponsor the open bar, and you go home and be happy.
Tito's going to sponsor the bar.
If you want to smoke a little funny cigarette, meet me in the back.
In the back? I don't know. They're already in the back. They already was out back.
You know, but again, I hear what you're saying, Spud, but I don't think that was like a full-fledged comedy special. I think what happened was, just like every other black man in this country, once he saw that video, it touched him. You feel what I'm saying? And he had enough juice to call Netflix and work it out in his backyard. Comedy Central, whoever's in the loop, we're going to put up some cameras and we're going to put this out on YouTube, period.
Well,
that's all it was.
Here's the other part. Since George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and you name it, you know, Ahmaud Arbery, every company has come out and decided that they want to be Black Lives Matter too. They want to stand with the black folks. They want to be down. And they all want to say Black Lives Matter now. And and they really still are, all they really are saying is Nabisco cookies, Black Lives Matter, buy some Nabisco cookies. That's what they're saying. And so,
or don't burn out down my shit.
Or, right? And where we are at right now is everybody wanted to have something to say, particularly a lot of people who didn't care 3 months ago. They didn't care. A lot of folks didn't care 3 months ago. All these people out here talking about Black Lives Matter couldn't have cared less 3 months ago. All of a sudden, Roger Goodell, I was wrong. A year ago, Colin Kaepernick can't get a job. And no, we ain't going to do this. And no, we ain't going to do that. You can't kneel and da-da-da-da. Now, I was wrong. Everybody is revising their position. Dave is saying, I've been here. So if the commercial corporate entities of the United States or even multinationals get to come out here and say Black Lives Matter, and then we are so sorry, we just want to hear from you black people and give some money to UNCF, and then maybe we could possibly get you to continue to buy some whatever they're selling. Why can't Dave come out and say, in this moment, it's time for me to have something to say as well? These people are getting their say. Dave was having his say. And I think there is an expectation, yes, typically of comedy, but there's an expectation that this is artwork that he produces. No, you don't expect LeBron James to come out and do that. When you pay for a ticket to see a basketball game, if LeBron stood out there for 48 minutes talking, he is not, in fact, doing what it is that he is there to do. Dave, he might say, these are jokes to me. I think it's funny. Or he may say...
I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to put a pin in it. You remember, and this was young Dave, you remember which comedic special it was, where he talked about how the cops sprinkle a little crack on you.
Right.
And they'll beat you up in your house.
That was young Dave, and he was saying something then.
That was funny, but that was really 25 years ago about him talking about police brutality, things that we're still talking about to this day. So this is not a new song that Dave is singing. I just think now, because he's grown up, as I said before, he has children. I mean, I don't have that, like Spud. Every time Deshaun goes out the house, or he, maybe he's at that age now, I know, but there was probably a time that you had to have the talk with him about how to interact with the police. Am I right?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? I watched the chief of police of Minnesota, of Minneapolis, say this just the other night. I didn't know that he had to sue the same department that he worked for discrimination. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so this is no matter if you got that bread. We saw what happened to the boy from SNL. You saw the tape. The LAPD ran up on homeboy. You feel what I'm saying?
Jay Farrell.
He got the knee in his back. And then they was like, oh, shoot, this dude from SNL. My fault. Come on, man. So I'm the pen is in it. And Maynard, don't be hating on them corporations. We're in negotiations with a few of them. So
look, I ain't hating. I'm just saying if they're gonna come in here, just not only put your money where your mouth is. And this is my thing about Juneteenth, because the state of Virginia was one of the first states to announce that Juneteenth was going to be a state holiday. So it gave me an extra day off. Okay, I think if Juneteenth just turns into a barbecue day, we ain't done nothing. If Juneteenth is the day that black people need to go and celebrate black people stuff, we ain't done nothing. This is American history.
So we celebrate 4th of July. What are we doing? Because my 4th of July, I'm just going to see grandma, make sure she okay. Maybe catch a rib and keep it moving.
I think I think we have to find ways to do things that are constructive educationally and reformative for our own neighborhoods in some respect. But I also think the more important thing, it cannot be the black holiday. It can't be the African American holiday. It has got to be an American holiday. Should we be doing that all year round, Maynard, Spud? Why do we have to have it for that day? We should be doing something for our community daily.
Why should I'm fine with that too. Holiday? I mean, on Easter, you know what I'm saying? We do the white Jesus holiday. Why can't we?
I boycott. No.
I mean,
if I see a buddy, I'm shooting it.
We're celebrating presidents. On 4th of July, we celebrating that. On Labor Day, we celebrating Labor Day. On Christmas, we celebrating, Sky Daddy's birthday. Why can't it be, for black folks?
Listen, what I'm saying about Juneteenth is not a black holiday. It's an American holiday. Black History Month it's not black history. This is American history. I don't want to, every time we hyphenate something that belongs to us, we're telling Americans, we're telling white folks, don't worry about this. We over here doing our thing. We having our potato salad and our ribs, and y'all don't have to. No, the part of the problem about why we don't get the respect, why it's not inclusive, why there's a misunderstanding between these individual races is because we're saying this is Black History Month. No, it's American History Month. It's American history. Slavery. Look.
So you want for white people to come to the barbecue on that day?
You don't have to come to my barbecue. We don't have to have a barbecue. I just want you to embrace the idea that this is an American thing.
Now you're trying to defund barbecues?
Back up.
Defund barbecues.
Is that what you're saying?
According to our Constitution, that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is important. That's actually a Declaration of Independence. But that we are the land of the free and home of the brave. We didn't get free until this day. But it's an American principle. It's an American ideal that freedom is something that we are supposed to have as Americans. Now, celebrate this because it's an American ideal. America, not just black people supposed to celebrate that. Everybody should celebrate. If you're American and you believe in freedom, everybody should celebrate that.
Do you believe you're free?
Yeah, I believe I'm free. I think that there are obviously
are free.
I'm sorry.
You mean do you believe that black folks are a whole are free? Do you believe you're just as equal as any white person that claims white privilege in America?
I think freedom and white privilege they don't necessarily track in the same space. So white privilege might mean that you can get things that I can't get or that I have not had access to. That doesn't mean that I don't have freedom, and they're not the same. But I will understand
that there are people out there that have more privilege than you. I mean, if
privilege,
you mean do you believe that you are just as equal as any white man that will stand next to you? Period.
So let's back up and understand which question are we asking, because freedom, equality, and privilege are not the same thing. They're not the same things.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the freedom, because that's kind of where I started at. So are you as free as any other nationality in this country?
Yes.
You believe that there are things that you can do that any white person can do, or there's things that white people can do that you can do as well. That you can obviously track in the same circles. You can, make the same amount of money. You can be accepted to some social circles. You believe that is accurate?
Certainly, I can go out and get a job, go out and work this job or that job or the other. I can get this education or that education or the other. Certainly. Equality and freedom are not the same. So I can get this job and I can make this money. It might not be what the other person is making. That's not a freedom issue. That's an equality issue. There's another concept that you discussed for a minute. But now let me just talk about freedom. Freedom is binary. It is you're free or you're not free. And there's a man that I know happened to post on his Facebook page. Some black preacher said that black people in America are freer than any other black people on the face of the planet. And again, I'm saying that freedom is not a graduating concept. It's not, well, I'm this free and that person's that free and then there's somebody who's even freer. Freedom is, yes, you're free, or no, you're not. And so the idea that we're freer than someone in another country is bogus.
Now, let's just talk about this country, because you said that we are free now. And while we're not in bondage, I mean, it's kind of hard to still say that we are free based off of the way that we're treated. Black women, young black men,
freedom and
brutality. I mean,
freedom is one thing. Justice is something different. Equality is something different. They're not they're not all the same thing. We shouldn't conflate and confuse those things as the same. Now, we very well may be in a scenario where we can say we don't have the same equality as others. We don't have the same justice as others. But my movement is not restricted. If I don't want to pay the bills that I owe, I don't have to pay the bills that I owe. And if I want to have my own private club, 3 black guys and a mic, and we don't want to let nobody else in, then we can do that too. Right? They won't let you join the clan. Well, we won't let them join 3 black guys and a mic. But that doesn't mean that we have equality. They're not the same. That's why they're 2 different words.
So, Spud, you ready?
Go ahead.
And I think, like with anything else, there's no one absolute. So part of what Maynard's saying is true. But if we just want to go by good old Webster, freedom is defined as the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. I don't know if that's necessarily true. And that's just not for us. We're now in a climate where if you get on Twitter and you say the wrong thing, then there's going to be hindrance based on your speech. Say that I don't like the one girl, the latest Karen that came from Portland, I think it was, and she got drunk and did something, and by 20 minutes later, they had her whole dossier on where she worked and the whole shebang, and she was fired from her job. So I think the concept or the definition of what some people say is freedom, we don't have that. That's not true.
Well, I think that you certainly can recognize that you can say what you want. And remember, to every action can be an equal and opposite reaction, right? So,
but it says without hindrance. You're going to have hindrance, my brother. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, hindrance is one thing. She could say it. She wasn't hindered from saying it. The reaction was not the hindrance. She could say it. So this is a hindrance. I go to punch you in your face, and you hinder me by keeping my hand from hitting you in the face. But it's not a hindrance if I punch you in your face and you punch me back. That's called a reaction.
So let me just ask this, and I'm done. So in Charlottesville, were there any like National Guard called or any military force or anything like that called?
I don't believe the National Guard was in Charlottesville at that time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think all they got was a little bit of state police. That was it.
Right.
But
there were National Guard called for George Floyd, correct?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here,
right.
So let's back up and try to figure out a couple of things. We understand we understand that circumstances had changed, right?
What circumstances? What do you mean? What do you mean?
So in Charlottesville, this thing happened on a day, Friday, whatever the case may be. It went up and went down basically in that span of time. It basically was a 24-hour event. There were no National Guard on the street when George Floyd was being murdered, right? That didn't happen. There were no National Guard on the street the first day of the protest. That didn't happen. The National Guard came out after things started to become greater than or larger than whatever the scenario is that had been anticipated. So in Charlottesville, it wasn't like 5 days or 3 days. It was one day and one night. Really, it was one night and then one day.
So we're free, but not equal.
I'm saying that the circumstances that occurred in Charlottesville happened in the space.
Let's go to your point. You made your point. I got you.
They were unaware that they were going to need the National Guard when the boy drove over her. That
so
happened.
You're saying as black folks, we're free, but not equal.
Certainly, I agree with that.
All right, cool. I don't even know where we are because we're like 30 minutes in. So let's just go to Lamont and his feelings because I know like we're like way over time. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see why Lamont
feelings. Lamont is in his feelings.
Who came up with that graphic, man? We're going to have to kill it after the day. Well,
now, wait, can I just pause? Didn't you say this was going to happen?
You said what?
This was going to happen.
Well, that's why the day is today. It's cool.
Maynard, I just want to just say, ladies and gentlemen, I did that graphic, and Lamont said, oh, no, it's cool. I said, no, I want to change it. And Maynard said that Lamont said, in about a week or a month, Lamont is going to be like, oh, man, I don't like that no more. Let's change it.
Yeah, we got to change. We got to upgrade that. You know what I'm saying?
My feelings, Lamont is in his feelings. Go ahead.
Maynard, can you just give me the 3 shot? I don't want to do the 1 shot if you don't mind.
Okay.
I feel lonely out there by myself. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm in my feelings about. It's about my new iPhone 11.
Hold, wait a minute. Stop.
What?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So I get the new iPhone 11. I finally had to upgrade, whatever. I'm bored. So the other night, my wife says, hey, Lamont, let me see your phone for a minute. Okay, whatever. So I give my wife my phone and whatever she was trying to do, she was trying to get some sort of feature. So she went to my text messages. Okay, well, ain't no big deal. No problem in my text messages, except I forgot to delete one text message in my phone, and I had to hear some lip from my wife. Can y'all guess where the text message was from?
I don't even want to even get in that.
No, and I don't want to know.
No, I don't even want to even get out of that.
It was from Shake Shack when I had to go pick up my order the other day. And I forgot to delete the damn message. You don't have a thing in my house, no fast food. But I had to go to Shake Shack and give me a chicken sandwich the other day, brother. So I'm just in my feelings about them new damn iPhones. They don't work the same like the old one. Because I got kind of busted because she said, oh, so you went to Shake Shack. Like, how you know that? And I forgot, you get the Shake Shack app. You hit the little button with your credit card in. And they tell you to drive up. Then you can come get your chicken sandwich. And I got a milkshake. A large.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that if you don't delete your text messages on the iPhone 6, the iPhone 8, the iPhone 10, or the iPhone 11, it's going to stay on your
He mad at the phone for him not deleting?
You didn't have to get a new phone to get busted. Are you on some sort of diet that you're not supposed to be eating Shake Shack?
No, here's the deal. One day, and I remember the day now, I came home and she was like, yo, you not hungry? I'm like, nah. She said, what'd you eat? None.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Because you can't tell her I stopped off at Shake Shack. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So I'm just in my feelings about the phone, man. Just take your time, learn your new phones. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have them kind of problems. Why? What you thought it was some chick texting me? No, we don't do that. No, we don't play them games. All right, that's it. That's all I got, man. Throw something deep, meaningful. No, that's it.
What
you got? I thought I deleted the order, bro. I didn't delete it. It
I've been
stayed on
waiting
my
for
phone.
2 weeks to talk to y'all. We done talked about freedom a minute ago.
Yes.
And I wanted to know what you were in your feelings about.
Yes. Yes. Me getting busted of getting a chicken sandwich and a large vanilla shake from Shake Shack. And I didn't tell my wife.
When did you get busted, Lamont?
This might have been Saturday.
So 2 days ago, maybe?
No, it might have been Friday. Maybe Friday or Saturday.
On the eve of Father's Day weekend.
Well, I'm not a dad, but okay.
But still, you a man, right?
So what you trying to say? I should be able to, if I want a Shake Shack sandwich, I should be able to go get one?
Are you saying that you free in America, but you're not free in your house?
No. God, no.
That one I would agree with him on.
God, no. Listen, somebody told me a long time ago, when you get married, you relinquish all of your rights. Just even with some people, the happiness, your thought process, you can't do none of that.
No happiness.
My wife look at me and be like, what are you thinking about? Why? Because I want to know. And you got to tell her. What you going to do?
You can't smile around. You can't smile. What you happy about?
No. Not in my house. No, sir. Nope. But that's all I got, man. I ain't got nothing deep. I'm sorry.
Okay. He wanted to talk about music, which I thought was extremely important. And he sent us a text message talking about, R&B today. Is it worth listening to? Why do we have to have so much cursing in R&B music? The alcoholism and the sexual advances in the music and so forth and so on. So Maynard, can you expand on what your problem is with, Trey Songz saying he wants to beat it up and, all the rest of the R&B artists saying that they want to beat it up instead of making love and, how they want.
Too much. So I decided, when we decided a couple weeks ago that we were going to have CM Moon on, I was like, man, I really got to catch up on some biz out here. And I went back and I listened to her stuff, and I really became a fan of a lot of her music. And I went and I was like, through the radio, because that's pretty much how I get things anymore. Not working in the industry anymore on a day-to-day basis. Don't have, a bunch of promotional records just show up, Lamont.
We don't do that anymore, brother. I can send you all the links you want, but ain't no more of them promos. That's DEAD, brother. Go ahead.
And so I was like, let me get my little women's playlist together. I want to hear the new ladies. I want to hear her. I want to hear Jessie Reyez. I want to hear Janae Aiko. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And a couple.
Aiko. Janae Aiko.
A couple others, Summer Walker, etc. And so I'm listening to the songs I like. Oh, my girl, Snow Allegra.
You know what? Homie from Chicago. I know who you're talking about. I can't spell the name or pronounce it correctly, but I know she dope. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Right. And I listen to the songs I like, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. But then I was like, okay, let me go ahead and just click on them and get their Apple Music album, their whole joint. And I'm looking and like, and I got my daughter in the car, and I'm thinking I'm gonna listen to some like kind of cool urban pop sounding stuff that has a nice beat, Doja Cat. Then I listen and I'm like, yo, it's one thing to talk about, ooh, baby, do it, let's do it all night long. But then some of them are like, put it in my ass, and like, the lyrics are explicit. Like, can't we just have love songs for the sake of having love songs no more?
What's wrong with that? That's not a love song?
Yeah, it's not a love song. Put it in my butt. That's not love, Maynard. I don't want to use your language. Put it in my butt.
Boogie in your butt. You're gonna boogie in your butt. Put a tree in your butt. I say, put me in your butt. I say, put a flea in your butt. Say, put a key in your butt. Say, put a can in your butt. Put a little tiny man in your butt.
That's a song for real, man. That's a song, man.
It is a song for real. No question about it. It's a song.
My man Mike Barnett said that is a love song.
That is a love song.
Love songs.
No, man, let me say this. And I heard actually our good buddy Azim Rashid. He was on one of the calls a couple of weeks ago, and he said something, and I was like, you know what? He's right. I mean, music is really just a reflection of the times. So, I mean, in the same breath, you know, you have to understand that you're right. When I still put on a Teddy Pendergrass record or a Earth, Wind, and Fire or OJ's record, it's a reflection of that time. It's a reflection of that instrumentation that they did, that arrangement, that lyric, that whole energy. I still say, hands down, Family Reunion is one of the best R&B albums ever. You feel what I'm saying? To me. And I think having that subject matter today from probably an 18 to 24-year-old young person, they ain't talking about no Family Reunion. They just probably not. They might have ever experienced that. You feel what I'm saying?
Because family ain't relevant no more?
I'm just telling you, they probably never experienced and understand the importance of a family reunion.
Is family relevant?
Say again?
Is family relevant?
Absolutely.
I hope so. I mean, everybody comes from one. People always, you know, the first time, no matter how ghetto somebody is, no matter how wild somebody may be, no matter how what people call poor white trash or urban ghetto or whatever you are anywhere in between, the first thing they say to you when you do something to them is they're gonna go get their family. So I mean, family is important.
Not from a violence perspective, I'm saying, but on a lot of other different perspectives. Again, coming from our community, because I always ask this question. You know, I know for me, family reunions were very big because the reality of what our history is our families were pulled apart. So I always wondered, the people who come from a Jewish background or a, you know, Arab background, do they have to have family reunions like we do to kind of put the piece of the puzzle back together? Most of the time, no.
They do. It's different, but it's the same. You know, we know this much that out there in Southfield, if you go, the one synagogue belongs to this tribe, and when they get together every Saturday, it's a big reunion. They don't happen to have the reunions that we have. They don't necessarily have to have the reunions that we have, which is, you know, August 8th every year in the park and barbecue.
You got to put your T-shirt on with your family tree, and you got to have the fish on Friday. And yeah.
But they do the same thing. But this is what I'm trying to figure out. I hear from people, being a adjunct professor in school, I see young people all the time, and I hear the same laments and arguments and cries and disappointment that I heard when I was 21, 22 years old. Girl, he don't love me. He doing it. He cheating. He running around. All he trying to do is get some, whatever. Okay, so then romance and relationships seem to be important still. They want that. And if what you're saying is, I just want to sex you up, if that's the whole situation, and if that's where we are, if that's a reflection of where we are, then why are people still wanting to have monogamous relationships? Why are people still wanting to be loved? Why are people still wanting to say this man or this woman is mine? If it's okay.
Because that's a human emotion. That's a human need. But again.
So then that's where we are.
Yeah, but the delivery of it is different. Because like Spud said, now it's not about putting it in your butt. Or, it is about putting it in your butt.
Well, but maybe that's
what's
wrong.
It wasn't like that before. Though. Maybe it was. You just didn't speak on it like that. You know what I mean?
But maybe that's what's wrong. Maybe, because you say this all the time, Lamont. If you eat McDonald's all the time and you fill your body with that poison, it's not good. If every song objectifies women or takes and makes sex something that happens not as a result of love, but just be like, yo, I'm trying to smash, and that's all it is, then at some point we're gonna have empty relationships.
So let me ask you this, Maynard, and after this, I'm gonna put a pin in it. This is my new thing now.
Put a pin in it.
So Teddy used to always say, he used to do for women only shows, right? Teddy, the only dude in the room, except the band and some of the, the roadies in the back, but it's a show with all women. Teddy consistently said, turn off them lights. It was a love TKO. Wasn't that like promoting like being like a ladies' man? And was that healthy at that time?
Listen, I
yes or no,
can
man.
recognize.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Was that healthy?
I certainly recognize that we've always had songs that have had sexual overtones.
Is that a yes or no?
Yeah, if you want it to be yes, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
I'm asking your opinion. Is that healthy? Because in my opinion.
Oh, is it healthy? Oh, that was your question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's healthy or unhealthy.
Was Dolomite healthy?
Exactly.
Was Dolomite a recording artist?
Yes.
Dolomite made plenty of albums.
Yeah.
What kind of albums?
He made sexual albums.
Yeah. Sexual comedy albums.
Comedy albums. Okay. Comedy
He was an artist, though. He was an artist.
Comedy albums, right?
Yeah, but he's still an artist, right?
Right. But did they play Dolomite on the radio over the FCC owned airwaves?
No, but people still bought them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was, because I don't know, when I was a kid, I listened to Dolomite because I had family members not upstairs, but in the front room that was listening, to Richard Pryor and to Dolomite and the whole 9 yards. I mean, I think that, music is music. I think that what's important is what you.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry.
No, man. Don't buy into that. Don't buy into that. Go ahead, Spud. You know what, man. You know, man. It's cool. Keep going, but because you're right about Dolomite. You're right.
What's wrong with Dolomite? I like Dolomite.
I love Dolomite. Petey Wheatstraw, don't be clear. Shout out to Kevin Hart. Kevin, make sure that he still plays that to this day.
I don't think that, I don't know, man. I get your point. I understand. Maybe, some of the things that maybe they should not be played on the radio.
Thank you, R. Kelly.
I think it's a matter of, how you articulate yourself now versus how you are, how you articulated yourself back in the 60s, in the 70s. I mean, Rick James was a super freak.
We understand that. We get it. We get it. It's R. Kelly and Rick James. They did it to us. Okay. But all I'm saying is we all.
No.
I see this. Robert's a genius, bro. You can't put that on Robert. Robert's a genius. Musically, a genius.
I don't have a problem with his music. The lyrics are different, but okay. I would say this. I'm curious about this, and I'm fine if this is where we are. Then this is where we are.
This is where we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I should be able to.
No debate about it. This is where we are.
And because Robert is mild compared to where we are right now.
But the crazy thing about it is that more women are sexually explicit than the guys are.
So I should be able to just walk up and just bend her over.
Well, no.
You're almost 50. You shouldn't be doing that.
No, anybody. Doesn't matter if you're 50 or 15.
Yeah, but but we're talking about Maynard. We said Maynard said he should be able to do it.
Yeah, nobody should be able to.
It's just like, we don't have no issues no more. We should just do it.
That's like saying, because you see a 16-year-old girl walking down the street, with a big butt and coochie cutter shorts on, means that you get the opportunity to go up and, say disrespectful things to her. No, you don't get to do that.
You know, I see this meme all the time, and it shows on this one side, it shows, you know, Pearl Bailey and Lena Horne and this one and that one and the other, and they're all dressed and they're beautiful women and they have their nice outfits on. And then they show the brothers, and the brothers are wearing their suits and they're attractive and well-groomed. Then on the other side, it shows, you know, Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. And how do we get from here to there? How do we get from the brothers looking sharp and being sharp?
I can tell you that. I mean, it's like one of the shows that we did in the past where, you know, that show where, you know, your grandmama, you know, used to twerk. The grandmothers at this point are 29, 30 years old, 34, 35 years old. You still have a good amount of women out there who are living the same lifestyle as their kids and their kids' kids. So I think that, you know, it's easy for
Is that good for us?
A 6-year-old or a 7-year-old to pick up that type of behavior.
Is that good for us?
I mean, I can't say what's good or bad. This is what will say. When we did our documentary, right, you know, it's called Teen Marriage. And I had an ideology of what I believe marriage was. But after interviewing all the couples that we went through, it made me realize marriage is how you make it. And love is how you make it. And the same thing with parenting. Because I parent different than you do, does not mean that my child is not going to be successful or not going to, you know what I'm saying, thrive in life or anything like that. You know, some of these parents out here are only working with the resources that they know. They don't know, you know what I'm saying, anything better. The way that, you know what I'm saying, you raise your daughter is on a whole other level, you know, but you have the resources to be able to do that. But somebody who is in the hood, they don't have the same resources.
Really,
I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Here's my point. And this is no diss. Your daughter may not have the same resources as Bill Gates' kids, right, or such as kids, or you know what I'm saying, or Will and Jada's kids, or whatever. Will and Jada, that's a perfect example, and they got all the resources in the world. And sometimes I look at, you know what I'm saying, Will and Jada like, what the hell did y'all do with Willow and Jaden? Like, they're just like off the chain. But that's the way that they raised them, and didn't make them, you know what I'm saying, unsuccessful.
My parents did not have certain resources. My parents' certainly didn't have certain resources. But there were certain concepts of self-respect that existed. There also were certain concepts of responsibility that existed. And when you say, well, you know, marriage and love and this, and that, I'm not, and even discussing parenting, I'm not really even going to sit here and discuss marriage. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this one concept, respect. Now, if we don't respect ourselves, we shouldn't have any expectation that anyone else will respect us.
But you're saying
they're not looking to be respected, Maynard. I think you're walking around thinking that people, and I laugh and joke about this all the time, everybody don't like red beans and rice or beans and rice or whatever it is.
Look at it like this. Let's ask the question. Do you not think that Cardi B respects herself?
First of all, I have some suspicions that Cardi B might be a damn PhD candidate. She's smarter than we think.
Okay, so that you just proved the point.
No,
so
her
daughter, you know, would not be.
No, I'm gonna reclaim my time here.
Take it.
Listen, we do know these things, that children born out of wedlock have more difficulties, by and large, percentage-wise, than children who aren't.
Republican out of them. There comes a Republican.
No, that's right. You know what, dude? How much more time we got?
It's true.
We're retarded right now.
Were you calling Barack a Republican when he said the same thing?
Yeah. If he said something like that.
Republican right now. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah. Right. We want outcomes. We want better for our children.
Who is we?
Oh well, maybe we don't. Maybe most people don't want better. Maybe I want my kid to die.
I'm trying to understand, Maynard. While you sitting around talking about let me go pour a glass of this blue Johnny Walker. There are people on this planet that don't know what the hell that is. You're under this. Wait, let me finish.
Listen,
I done sat here and let you pontificate.
Lamont, if my daughter never drinks Johnny Walker Blue, I'm not raising my daughter to be a Johnny Walker Blue drinker. That's not what we're discussing. I'm talking about respect. I'm talking about respect. I'm talking about respect. I'm talking about
some people don't care if Maynard respects them or not. That's not how they function.
I'm not worried about if people are looking for my respect to them. I'm talking about people respecting themselves, Lamont.
Some people don't care about respecting themselves.
So then, if you don't care about respecting yourself, then why should you expect someone to respect you? If you won't respect yourself.
I think that, you know what I'm saying, we also got to be able to look at what is respect. That is subjective, you know, and then that really is, these days, it really is subjective. What you define as self-respect and what someone else defines as self-respect is two different things, especially in this generation. I mean, they just have a different level of the way that they interact with society. And those things mean that it doesn't mean that they have a different level of respect because you have Doja Cat or you have Cardi B or you have Nicki Minaj, you know, or you have Sweetie talk about she wants it, you know what I'm saying, 8-inch bigger, you know what I'm saying, that's the pipe, does not mean that she does not respect herself or that the girls who listen to that song don't respect themselves. And I could see your point that back in the day, you wouldn't have that. But back in the day, Anita Baker couldn't say, I want you to come over and bend it over, and you know what I'm saying, she wouldn't get a song played. But nowadays, if you had somebody talking about come and make sweet love to me, you probably couldn't get a record played on the radio right now.
You know,
this is the
thing. The funniest thing about this is we absolutely change everything we say about this when we go back and talk about it in a different light. When we go back and talk about how the fact that in 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, that conscious rappers were out here doing their thing, but the record industry wasn't embracing them. And then when we started saying F the police and NWA and so on and so forth, all of a sudden that blew up. We all recognize that the people will say, oh, when we were talking about good stuff for ourselves, the record industry wasn't happy with it. As soon as we talking about killing ourselves and doing all this other foolishness, then all of a sudden, great, we're going to go multi-platinum and we're going to support that and we're going to go further. What happened to our good conscious rappers? Oh, we don't need that no more. We got mad when that happened, but I guess it's okay. It's all right. But now that we're talking about sex, everybody's like, well, you know, we can just talk about sex more. It's okay. Maynard, you're a prude. But we don't want, and we know this, we don't want music that talks about being dope dealers all the time. That is bad for us. It's horrible for our community. We can't continue to do that and just think that this shit is okay. It's not.
So let me ask this and then I'll be done. Let me ask and then let me make a statement. Well, let me make my statement first.
Do whichever. It's okay.
I'm not that smart. So when I was young and I was playing straight out of Compton, loud. I mean, not just like regular, like loud for the entire neighborhood to hear. And my grandmother was hanging up clothes and she said, banged on my window and said, if you don't turn that damn music down, it's going to be a problem. And then she had to come later and have a conversation with me and just say, hey, look, you can't go out here and say F the police. You can't go out here and be aggressive to the police. You have to understand what the difference is between the music and what real life is all about. That's my comment. So I understand your point in regards to sex, all this other stuff. But the very people that we all idolize were either in these same things that you're talking about. Drugs, sex.
Leslie Martin.
I mean, that's what they've done. They've made it out of those circumstances. And not that it was good, but it was a story that they told. So I think it's, it's about balance. And I agree. We can't have Burger King every day. I think that sometimes you got to be able to have diversity in music. But at the end of the day, it is about what you do in your household and how you think is the betterment of your household. Because I have seen, we have all seen people who've come from impoverished neighborhoods who have made it out. People who have been in very sexual. Eve went from being a stripper to being a talk show host. Cardi B went from being a stripper to being a millionaire. Jay-Z has went from being a dope dealer to being on the board of the NFL. I mean, just because they have indulged it or done it or talked about it doesn't mean that they don't have respect for themselves. I don't see that.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not.
That is what you're saying. You are saying there is no respect because these people are talking about sex all the time.
No, what I'm saying
talking
is
about
this.
drugs all the time.
What I'm saying
and
is this.
Lack of self-respect.
What I'm saying is this. If, for instance, like I said, being a professor and seeing these kids that are in this age group and hearing them cry about the same things that people have been crying about forever and ever. He don't respect me. He's sleeping with my girlfriend. He's doing this, whatever. Or whatever it may be. I'm not saying that because somebody started here that they can't wind up there. I'm not saying that Cardi B couldn't be a stripper and become a multimillionaire salesperson of records. What I'm saying is, and somebody once said this particularly about Eminem, and a lot of black folks clapped when they heard this. Eminem said all these crazy things on a record, and then when it was 60 Minutes, he was on a 60 Minutes television show. And he was rhyming orange with something and da-da-da-da. And then his child was playing music, and the music was like good, clean pop music, whatever. And somebody made a comment. You mean to tell me you sell that to my child, but you won't let your child have that? You sell crap to us, but you do better for your own people. And all I'm asking is, if all these messages are coming and being sold and marketed by ultimately white organizations that tell us that Black Lives Matter. They all telling us right now, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And by the way, here comes this next song called Giving Up the Puss or whatever. Black lives don't matter. Black lives, you're the one that said it. Black lives don't matter. If you can't sit here and tell me that Black Lives Matter, and then you turn around and play the next song is Mask Off, Molly, Percocet, whatever. You can't tell me that Black Lives Matter and we talking about Dracos. You can't tell me that Black Lives Matter and we talking about cooking up rocks with an Uzi. Black lives either matter and we want good things.
What's Draco?
Come on, stop. But don't do that.
I don't know what that is.
You know what a Draco is?
No.
It's a shotty. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Weapon.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
All right, we're 3 minutes over. I don't even know. I'm so sorry that we went off of the rails. This is all my fault, ladies and gentlemen, because I was unprepared tonight. So please forgive me. Would you like to do the cactus? Because I don't want to,
No, but I would like to make sure that we let our new sponsor, Rugged Evolution, get their spot in, and then we'll just do a quick wrap. Is that okay?
All right, gentlemen. Yes.
All right,
thank you so very much for listening to this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. The only reason why we're cutting off is because Lamont has a very strict policy of making sure that we do not go over, and we are over by 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So I apologize.
And y'all don't have to sit in those meetings with Lamont like 2 days later when he has to.
Anyways, make sure you check out our sponsor, Rugged Evolution. They have 16 natural balms, oils, shampoos, and accessories for all your beard care needs. If you don't have a beard, you can still use it. So all my fellas with the beard gang, Rugged Evolution. Go to ruggedevo.com. That's ruggedevo.com. Have a fantastic week, and we'll do it again next Monday at 7 p.m. Share this episode with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to soundcloud.com/3blackguyswiththemic. hit the thumbs up button on YouTube, and rate and review us on iTunes. Have a fantastic week. Peace out.
Do you suffer from patchiness or irritation and want a fuller beard? Rugged Evolution features 16 amazing balms, oils, shampoos, and accessories. For more information, go to ruggedevo.com.
And remember, rugged is the new smooth.